What if the most powerful transformation of your life happened in silence? What if your greatest victories were forged not under the blinding lights of applause, in the unseen hours when no one was watching? The world will tell you to prove yourself, to show off, to make noise, but the truth is, the strongest people in history built themselves quietly. They didn't waste their energy chasing approval. They invested their energy in building unshakable foundations. They weren't distracted by what others thought. They were consumed by who they were becoming. Think of the seed buried beneath the soil. No one applauds it. No one praises its patience. No one claps for its struggle in the darkness. And yet, in that silence, it grows roots that no storm can shake. It pushes deeper, anchoring itself before it ever dares to break the surface. Only when it is ready does it rise. That is how you must build yourself, quietly, relentlessly, with focus so sharp it cuts away every distraction, with belief so strong it doesn't matter who notices or who doubts. Because the truth is this: most people waste their lives comparing, competing, and complaining. They watch what others are doing and forget to ask themselves what they are becoming. They scroll through lives that aren't theirs and lose the only one they've been given. They measure their progress against someone else's highlight reel and wonder why they feel behind. But winners do not play that game. They know that comparison is the thief of destiny. They know that every second spent watching another person's life is a second stolen from building their own. When Andrew Carnegie was asked how he became the richest man of his era, he didn't talk about competing with others. He spoke about clarity of purpose, about aligning his mind with one burning desire. Thomas Edison didn't succeed because he looked over his shoulder at what others were inventing. He succeeded because he locked himself in laboratories and tested ideas 10,000 times. Henry Ford didn't build the assembly line because he was jealous of someone else's factory. He built it because he had a vision that was his alone. Greatness doesn't come from imitation, it comes from inner construction. From building your life in the silence of discipline, not in the noise of comparison. And here is the paradox: when you build yourself quietly, when you focus only on your path, the noise eventually comes anyway. The world eventually notices. The same people who doubted, mocked, or ignored you will one day point and say, "I always knew they were destined for something." But you will know the truth: you didn't do it for them. You didn't waste your life chasing their approval. You did it for something deeper, for the calling that was planted in you long before they could see it. Every morning you wake up, you stand at a crossroads. Do you live today watching others, or do you live today building yourself? Do you waste your energy in envy, or do you invest it in becoming? Do you scroll and compare, or do you rise and construct? Life is not a spectator sport. It was never meant to be lived through someone else's timeline. It is meant to be built brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day, in the silence of your own determination. Winners are not loud in their process. They don't announce every step. They don't scream for validation. They move quietly because they know noise doesn't build empires, discipline does. Look back at history. The most dangerous warriors were not the ones who boasted before battle. They were the ones who prepared in silence, sharpened their blades in the dark, and struck with precision when the moment came. Your preparation is your weapon. Your silence is your strength. And understand this: when you are focused on building yourself, you will be misunderstood. People will say you're antisocial, distant, obsessed. They won't understand why you're not chasing the same distractions, the same shallow pleasures, the same endless games of comparison. Let them talk. Their opinions don't build your future. Their noise doesn't feed your soul. Silence their voices with your results. Replace their doubts with your discipline. Prove nothing, just become. Because when you focus on yourself, when you build quietly, you awaken something unstoppable within you. You build confidence not by talking about it, but by living it. You build strength not by announcing it, but by embodying it. You build mastery not by competing with others, but by competing with the person in the mirror. That is the only battle worth fighting, the one between who you are and who you are capable of becoming. So stop watching. Stop waiting. Stop worrying about who's ahead or who's behind. None of that matters. The only question that matters is this: what are you building in silence today that will roar tomorrow? Discipline is the architect of destiny. Without it, dreams remain fantasies, castles in the air with no foundation to stand on. You can imagine the life you want, you can affirm it, you can visualize it. But if you do not discipline yourself to act daily, all dissolves into smoke. Winners understand this. They do not wait for motivation. They create routines that force them forward when motivation dies. They don't ask, "Do I feel like it today?" They declare, "It doesn't matter how I feel, I do it anyway." Look at the greatest builders of history. Nikola Tesla worked in solitude, obsessing over his experiments for hours on end, losing track of time because his discipline was rooted in obsession. Walt Disney was told his ideas were childish and impossible, yet he disciplined himself to keep drawing, keep imagining, keep moving forward when every banker and critic said no. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not loud. It is often boring. But it is in that boredom, in that repetition, in that daily grind that empires are built. And here's the truth most will never admit. Discipline is freedom. The world tells you freedom is doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But that is chaos, not freedom. True freedom comes when you have mastered yourself, when you no longer live as a slave to impulses, distractions, or other people's expectations. When you choose discipline, you are choosing freedom over slavery, strength over weakness, destiny over drift. Winners live with clarity. They know exactly what they are building. They don't stumble blindly through life, waiting for luck to appear. They sit down with themselves and carve out a vision sharp it cuts away everything else. They know what they want, and because they know, they refuse to waste energy on what doesn't matter. Clarity is a weapon. It focuses your energy, eliminates distraction. It gives you the power to say no to what is unworthy of your destiny. Imagine a magnifying glass under the sun. Left unfocused, it warms nothing. But tilt it just right, concentrate its energy, and it can ignite fire. That is clarity. Without it, you scatter your strength across 100 meaningless tasks. With it, you become unstoppable. Abraham Lincoln said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first for sharpening the axe." Clarity sharpens your axe. It is the unseen preparation that allows you to strike once and split the trunk clean. Most people swing blindly and wonder why the tree doesn't fall. They burn themselves out in effort without direction. But winners know where to strike, and they know why. Vision is not just seeing a future, it is feeling it with such intensity that you live as if it were already real. The mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality when you fuel it with enough emotion. That is why affirmations matter, why visualization matters, why belief is the heartbeat of achievement. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." And he was right, because thought crystallizes into reality. The world around you is a mirror of the world within you. If you think small, you build small. If you think temporary, you build temporary. But if you dare to think big, if you dare to see yourself as capable of greatness, then your actions follow suit. Vision pulls you. It becomes a force stronger than fear, stronger than fatigue, stronger than doubt. It becomes your compass when you are lost, your fire when you are cold, your strength when you are weak. But vision alone is not enough. It must be married to purpose. Purpose is the fuel that keeps you moving when the road is long, when no one is cheering, when failure beats at your door. Without purpose, discipline feels like punishment. With purpose, discipline feels like devotion. Without purpose, the grind breaks you. With purpose, the grind shapes you. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. His purpose was not comfort, not applause. It was justice, equality, freedom. That purpose allowed him to endure jail cells, threats, and endless nights of exhaustion. Purpose gave him the strength to keep speaking when the world tried to silence him. Or think of Helen Keller, blind and deaf, yet her purpose was to prove that no limitation could cage the human spirit. She built herself quietly in darkness, with patience, with focus, with a determination so fierce it still inspires today. Your purpose does not need to be global. It must be personal. It must be so deep that it shakes you awake in the morning. It must be so real that no distraction can steal you away from it. Purpose is not found in comparison. It is born in silence, in reflection, in asking yourself the hardest question of all: why am I here? Resilience is the silent crown of the strong. It is not the absence of failure, but the decision to rise every single time failure dares to knock you down. Every great life is stitched together with broken threads that were rewoven stronger than before. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before his invention lit the world. 10,000 moments where a weaker man would have surrendered, but he declared, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." It is resilience, not denial of difficulty, but the refusal to give difficulty the final word. Life will test you. It will press against your spirit with weight you did not expect. You will face betrayal from those you trusted, silence from those you helped, rejection from doors you knocked on with hope. And in those moments, the world will watch to see if you fold or if you stand taller. Resilience is built in those moments, not when things are easy, not when applause surrounds you, when it feels like the whole universe is against you. Winners understand that setbacks are setups, that rejection is redirection, that closed doors are not endings, but detours leading to the right destination. They do not curse the obstacle, they study it, climb it, or use it as fuel to build their strength. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, wrote, "Impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the philosophy of the resilient. They take the brick thrown at them and build a fortress. They take the storm meant to drown them and learn to sail it. Adaptability is the twin of resilience. To be adaptable is to understand that rigidity breaks while flexibility endures. Nature itself teaches us this. The oak tree that refuses to bend in the storm is uprooted. The reed that sways survives. Winners bend without breaking. They adjust their sails when the wind changes, but they never change the destination. They reinvent themselves, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Think of Steve Jobs. Cast out of the very company he built, humiliated, written off. Most would have disappeared into the shadows. But Jobs adapted. He built Next. He shaped Pixar. He expanded his mind and his craft. And when life circled back, he returned to Apple not as the same man, as a sharper, wiser, more dangerous visionary. Rejection made him greater because he refused to break. He chose to bend, to adapt, and then to strike again. Resilience and adaptability together form the unshakable spirit of those who win. They know storms will come, but they also know storms pass. They know winter can be harsh, but spring always follows. They accept the reality of struggle, but refuse to let struggle define them. They endure, they evolve, and in the end, they emerge not just unbroken, but unstoppable. And here lies the ultimate truth. Every blow you take, every fall you suffer, every moment you think you cannot go on, those are the very moments sculpting the giant within you. Diamonds are not born in silence, are formed under pressure. Steel is not forged in comfort. It is shaped in fire. Your strength, your greatness, your unshakable power is hidden inside your scars. So when life knocks you down, do not just rise louder. Rise stronger. Rise so tall that your very existence becomes proof to others that defeat is an illusion. Because the world does not remember those who never fell. It remembers those who fell and refused to stay down. Gratitude is the anchor that steadies the soul in both storms and sunshine. It is the invisible thread that ties abundance to your life. The one who is ungrateful may walk among treasures and still feel poor, but the one who practices gratitude can hold only a single coin and feel wealthy beyond measure. Winners understand this secret. Gratitude does not come after success, it creates success. Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men in history, once said, "No man can become rich without enriching others." What he truly meant was that wealth is not just about money, it is about perspective, about service, about the ability to see opportunities even in struggles. Gratitude sharpens that perspective. When you wake up thankful for the breath in your lungs, the roof above your head, the chance to fight another day, you activate a mindset that multiplies blessings. The world responds to your energy. If you broadcast bitterness, you attract bitterness. If you dwell on lack, you multiply lack. But if you choose gratitude, if you train your mind to see what is working instead of obsessing over what isn't, you shift your vibration to one that pulls success toward you like a magnet. Napoleon Hill said, "You become what you think about." Gratitude makes sure that what you think about is rooted in abundance, not scarcity. But gratitude is not just words, it is action. It is saying thank you not only with your lips, but with the way you live. It is taking care of what you already have so the universe knows you are ready for more. It is honoring small victories, small opportunities, small doors, because hidden inside them are the seeds of greatness. Every giant oak begins as a small acorn, but only the grateful soul sees the value in planting it. Alongside gratitude comes faith, the unshakable belief in the unseen, unproven, not yet. Faith is not blind, it is visionary. It sees beyond current conditions into the reality you are building. Faith is the fuel of action. When Edison was ridiculed, when Disney was laughed at, when Lincoln was doubted, faith carried them through the fog of rejection into the clarity of victory. Faith whispers, "Keep going when nothing makes sense." Faith says, "This path is yours, even if no one else can see it." Faith does not demand evidence, it creates it. Winners live by faith, not by fear. They trust that the seed planted today will break through the soil tomorrow, even when the ground looks barren. And here is the paradox. Gratitude grounds you in the present while faith pulls you into the future. Together, they form the twin engines of unstoppable momentum. Gratitude keeps you humble. Faith keeps you hungry. Gratitude reminds you of what is already in your hands. Faith pushes you to reach for what is not yet visible. So when rejection comes, answer with gratitude. Thank you for this lesson. When obstacles rise, answer with faith. This is not the end of my story. When the world doubts you, answer with both. I am grateful for the chance to prove them wrong, and I have faith that my destiny is greater than their disbelief. Because in the end, the combination of gratitude and faith does not just change what you achieve, it transforms who you are. And the world does not reward the person who simply chases success, it rewards the person who becomes success. So here is the truth that cannot be ignored. The world does not crown the loudest, the fastest, or even the most gifted. It crowns the one who endures, the one who builds silently when no one claps, the one who practices gratitude when life feels unfair, the one who clings to faith when logic says surrender, the one who moves forward when rejection tries to chain them down. Winners are not born, they are sculpted. Sculpted in silence, sculpted in sacrifice, sculpted in the hidden hours when no spotlight shines, when no hand applauds, when the only sound is the beating of their own determined heart. Every time you choose to stay disciplined when comfort tempts you, every time you choose gratitude over bitterness, every time you choose faith over fear, you are chiseling the statue of your own greatness. And one day, when the world sees what you've built, it will look effortless to them. They will call you lucky. It will say, you are destined. You will know the truth. You will know that destiny was not given to you, it was created by you. You will know that every rejection you turned into fuel, every obstacle you transformed into a stepping stone, every early morning and every late night was the real secret behind the crown. Act as if you are the best, because deep down you are not better than others, but better than the excuses that once tried to control you, better than the doubts that once haunted you, better than the version of yourself who almost gave up. Focus on yourself, because comparison is a thief. Build yourself quietly, because noise distracts. Win your mornings, because mornings create momentum. Stay grateful, because gratitude multiplies. Hold the vision, because faith delivers. And never forget, the world is not waiting for permission to crown you. It is waiting for proof that you refuse to quit. This is your moment. This is your call. Build in silence. Rise in strength. Act as if nothing can touch you, because when you master your mind, nothing truly can. And when the time comes, the world will have no choice but to see what you already knew deep inside, that you were never ordinary. You were always extraordinary. Now go and live it.